I am Dr. Nandita Mohan and welcome to Medical Dialogues, your daily dose of health and medical news. Here are the latest developments in the medical world. Reused transplanted liver, a first case report. A medical miracle indeed. In a first of its kind operation in India, doctors at a private hospital in the city reused a liver transplanted onto a patient who was declared brain dead days after the operation to save another man's life. Liver transplants are routinely performed across the globe, but such unique cases are very scarcely done. The first recipient of the organ had suffered intracranial hemorrhage barely a week after the transplant. The liver belongs to a 44-year-old woman who had a history of seizures and hypertension. She was declared brain dead following a brain bleed. 21 patients were offered her liver, but only one patient, a 53-year-old male patient, was the first recipient of the liver. The recipient was recovering well post-transplant, but he also developed the same brain bleed problem as his donor. The already transplanted liver was offered to 21, out of which only one accepted to undergo the surgery with a used liver. Several precautions were taken to assess the risk of rejection prior to the transplant. Various parameters were checked prior to surgery. Liver function tests were done, which were normal. Then the doctors confirmed that there had been no break in the immunosuppressive therapy after the onset of intracranial bleeding. The liver transplant using the previously transplanted organ was carried out. According to the doctors, the first few days were critical for the overall success of the liver transplant surgery. Soon after the surgery, the patient came off the ventilator. The liver enzymes did go very high, but with infusion of N-acetylcysteine, the doctors were able to control it. The success of this transplant opens another door for other waiting for organ transplants. Many organ recipients die from post-transplant cardiovascular events and not from failing grafts. On a lateral comment, I'm just thinking of those 21 patients who refused the offer. Dexamethasone may help cancer patients survive longer. Here is some relief for patients suffering from cancer. According to a new study, patients with breast, pancreatic, and certain other types of cancer may survive longer if given a drug called dexamethasone during surgery. The study presented at the Anesthesiology 2021 annual meeting mentioned that 3 months after their cancer surgery, more than 3 times as many patients who did not receive dexamethasone died compared to those who received the drug. Dexamethasone is given to patients to prevent nausea and vomiting after surgery and during the undergoing chemotherapy process. Researchers found that dexamethasone can improve mid to long-term outcomes in patients with non-immunogenic cancers such as sarcomas and even cancers of the breast, uterus, ovary, esophagus, pancreas, thyroid, bones, and even joints. Overall, 34 patients received dexamethasone during surgery. After a period of 90 days, 0.83% of the patients who had received the drug died versus 3.2% who did not receive the drug. Therefore, dexamethasone is being called the wonder drug for patients undergoing cancer treatment. Ankle fracture patients at higher risk of venous thromboembolism. Deep vein thrombosis is a deadly disease and can lead to miserable consequences. On the other hand, ankle fractures is quite a common disease and can happen even in case of simple accidents. Their association has recently been studied where the authors have found out that certain patients immobilized for ankle fractures are at a higher risk of developing venous thromboembolism. This study, published in the Annals of Emergency Medicine, was a retrospective cohort study including a total of approximately 86,000 patients eligible who were patients with ankle fractures. It was observed that the incidence of venous thromboembolism within 90-day period was 1.3% and the primary factors associated with venous thromboembolism was only older age. Hence, the risk of venous thromboembolism should be recognized by emergency physicians who are primarily dealing with ankle fractures. Video games can have similar health benefits to jogging in diabetes and heart patients. Sedentary screen times such as watching TV, playing video games, and using computers, as well as poor eating habits, may aggravate obesity, hypertension, and even diabetes mellitus. But have you ever put a thought if playing video games can have some health benefits, especially for patients with diabetes and heart conditions? The answer to this has been elaborated in a recent study published in the Games for Health journal, where the researchers have said that active video games have shown positive health effects on the body as traditional exercises such as even walking on a treadmill. While sedentary screen time spent playing video games is often blamed for causing obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes, the new research suggests that certain video games could encourage players to be more active. While it's not the magic solution to keeping active, they found that players enjoyed playing video games way more than mere running. This is really important when adherence to traditional physical activities is generally low in diabetic patients. So to conclude, gamifying exercises not only take your mind off the exertion, but working towards rewards in the game or even competing against friends helps motivate you to coming back to do more. Semaglutide once weekly can help in weight loss in obese individuals. Obesity is a global health challenge with very few pharmacological options. Although lifestyle interventions including diet and exercise represents the cornerstone of weight management, sustaining weight loss over a long term is still challenging. Clinical guidelines suggest adjunct pharmacotherapy modules, particularly for adults with a body mass index of 30 or even greater. However, the use of available medications remain limited by modest efficacy, safety concerns, and even cost. But in a recent double-blind trial, the researchers have mentioned that 2.4 milligrams of semaglutide once weekly plus lifestyle interventions for obese or overweight participants, it has been said that this dosage was associated with sustained clinically relevant reduction in body weight. The researchers enrolled approximately 2,000 adults with a body mass index of 30 or even greater. The results showed that the mean change in body weight from baseline to week 68 was minus 14.9% in the semaglutide group as compared with only minus 2.4% in the placebo group. Participants who received semaglutide had a greater improvement with respect to cardiometabolic risk factors and a greater increase in participant reported functional from baseline than those who received placebo. Nausea and diarrhea were the most common adverse events with semaglutide. They were typically transient and mild to moderate in severity and subsided with time. Hence, the authors concluded that participants with overweight or obesity, 2.4 milligrams of semaglutide once weekly plus lifestyle interventions was associated with sustained clinically relevant reduction in body weight. So folks, get your injections done. That's all for today. I shall see you tomorrow.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.